So as you probably all know, baseball is the most statistical-driven game in history, with batting average coming into existence as early as 1872. ERA came into fruition in 1912 thanks to the National League president at the time, John Heidler, after he scrapped the original stat called earned runs per game. Then, some could say the first seed was planted when it comes to Sabermetrics back in 1977 as an unknown Kansas man by the name of Bill James self-published his own baseball abstract. And finally, in the early 2000s, Sabermetrics starts to seep into the professional game of baseball as low-profile general manager of the Oakland Athletics, Billy Beane, adopts a new analytical-driven philosophy that stems from the Bill James novel, which soon after is known to the masses as Moneyball. So with all that said, today I am going to be debuting a new potential stat in which I have devised and believe could be a better and more accurate way of evaluating a position player's performance at the plate. And the name of this new stat I have come up with will be called contact when swinging, otherwise known as CWS. This new stat would not be read or calculated like an average, such as a batting average, an OPS, an on-base percentage. It should really be calculated more like if you were to read a box score and you see how many hits a player got in X amount of at-bats in a game. So for example, a guy could still have a good day when it comes to his CWS, his contact when swinging, even if he goes hitless during a game. Now, let me explain a little bit and elaborate on how that could be. In other words, Bryce Harper could go 0 for 4 on the day, which means he just did not generate any hits. However, he could still go 4 for 4 in the game when it comes to his CWS, contact when swinging. So for example, let's just say in his first 2 at-bats, he flies out to left and center field. And then in his 3rd at-bat, he grounds out to the shortstop. And finally, in his 4th and final at-bat, he could line out to the 3rd baseman. When it comes to his hits, box score, it would read 0 for 4. That means he went hitless on the day. He did not generate any hits. But when it comes to his CWS, he would go 4 for 4. This is because every time he was up to the plate, he put the ball in play. That is the key. That is what determines a person's CWS. Now, I do want to make it clear when it comes to CWS that the stat itself would not factor in if a guy hits a foul ball out of play, because that means his swing, although he made contact, generated a neutral result. Okay? So if Bryce Harper hit a ball in a 2-2 count, he fouls it out of play, yeah, he hit the ball, he made contact, but when the ball goes, 3-4 rows back behind home plate, again, it's a neutral result. It did not generate any sort of outcome. It did not impact the game in a positive nor negative way in any way, shape, or form. So in that scenario, CWS would not become a factor. Now here's another scenario. Let's say Bryce Harper is currently 3 for 3 on the day when it comes to his CWS, contact when swinging, and he's also 3 for 3 on the day when it comes to hits. And then in his final at-bat, he hits a ground ball to the shortstop, in which the shortstop bobbled the ball and it resulted in an error and Bryce Harper reached base. Of course, that would mean Bryce Harper would go 3 for 4 on the day with reaching a base via an error. However, he would be 4 for 4 on the day when it comes to CWS because, hypothetically, he still made contact with the ball and put the ball in play. Again, in play is a key factor when it comes to my own calculation of how CWS should be measured. Now, I also want to clear up one more possible result and how it would be scored when it comes to CWS, and that is a foul ball that results in an out. So if Bryce Harper would hit a pop fly in foul territory that resulted in an out, he would still earn a positive result when it comes to his CWS because, once again, he made contact with the ball and put the ball in play. No different than an RBI if that fly ball out in foul territory resulted in a run coming home from 3rd base. In that scenario, of course, it's a positive effort, an outcome for Harper because he is gifted with an RBI. So, once again, Bryce Harper will be gifted with a positive result when it comes to his CWS because, once again, he did technically put the ball in play. So, if Bryce Harper is 3 for 3 on the day, and in his 4th at-bat, he flies out in foul territory, again, he'd go 3 for 4 on the day when it comes to normal hits, but he would go 4 for 4 when it comes to his CWS, because, again, in each one of his at-bats, he made contact with the ball and put the ball in play, regardless of whether that contact he made with the ball resulted in a hit or not. Now finally, you're all probably wondering, is there any way a player could be charged with a negative outcome when it comes to CWS? Well, that answer is yes. Now a player could go 2 for 4, 1 for 4, or even 0 for 4 in CWS if any one of his plate appearances results in a strikeout, because technically the outcome of the at-bat was a negative one for the player. But most importantly, the result of the at-bat itself did not conclude with the player putting the ball in play in any way, shape, or form. And that is how a player could be charged negatively when it comes to his contact when swinging. So in conclusion, this stat is purely meant to more accurately evaluate a player's performance in the box. Because if you just read a box score and it says 0 for 4, a person automatically thinks that the player had a bad day. However, that 0 for 4 does not show them if the player got robbed of a hit, reached base via an error, or drove in a run via a sac fly. To me, CWS magnifies the players who are truly doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that is making contact with the baseball. I also think this stat gives players a great advantage when they are in arbitration, because it's just another tool in their tool belt when they are at the negotiating table that they can use to their advantage and say, hey, look at how many times I was in a positive scenario in a CWS after the game. Look at how many times I made contact with the ball, but I just got unlucky. You could have someone like a Brandon Nimmo, possibly, who makes great contact with the ball. He would have a great CWS all season long. He'd probably go 3 for 4, 4 for 4 every game when it comes to his CWS, because he makes great contact with the ball. And again, this may incentivize players to truly focus on making contact with the ball, which is kind of what baseball wants, because they want the ball to be put in play. So if baseball makes an official stat like CWS that is purely meant to exploit how many times a player makes contact, then I think this will open up not only fans' eyes, but players' eyes to how truly valuable making contact with the ball could be. And maybe you won't see as many launch angle swings. Maybe you will see the old baseball from the 1980s come back, where it's a hit and run type of game, because I think baseball doesn't have a stat that truly magnifies and champions when a player makes contact with the ball. Because I do believe that contact is important in our game, and I think you're not seeing as much of it now because it's not advertised as something that is really important anymore. Just the pure contact element of hitting. That is all I got for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below your thoughts, and I'll catch you guys later.